Hi, it's Dan and Kim here from Byron RAW with a follow-up to our recent story about the risk of faecal contamination entering two holding tanks that supply Byron's town water.
So we had a great response to our first video with hundreds of residents wanting to know more and council wanting to assure everyone that the drinking water is in fact safe despite the issues that were raised. It was the Water Services Association of Australia who reported the risk of faecal contamination entering the tanks via a submission to Parliament last November. Since our video, council has announced the following.
We have increased inspections by a drone to mitigate risk.
What is the definition of safe levels of contamination? Is there any plan of action to address this? How hard is it just to move phone towers off a water tank so that the water tank can be maintained?
So what are the health implications if things get worse and we do start to ingest contaminated water?
We spoke to Ren Dubois, the director of the Health Lodge in Byron, who's been treating locals for 20 years.
We're predominantly made of water, and so the quality of our water is what helps the cells to operate, the nervous system to communicate, the hormones to communicate in our body, our liver to function, our kidneys to function. When I first started practicing in 2000 to about 2003, we would only see blastocystis in people that were on tank water. And I could often pick my patients' microflora by if they were on tank water. But around 2005, I started to see it in patients that were on town water. The Byron water, I think, is good for bathing and washing your vegetables in, but I certainly wouldn't be drinking it. I think it's pretty heavily treated to keep vectors like blastocystis down in numbers. For 20 years, I've been recommending people get water filters, carbon filters on their water, and I currently don't use the town water at all. We need better quality water in general for good health.
So where does our water come from before it gets to our taps? Well, the Rouse City Council are the collecting point, and they then supply Ballina, Lismore and Byron. Rouse County Council is responsible for the collecting and supplying of water to Byron. They say it's stringently tested before leaving them.
Once it reaches the holding tanks, Byron Council is responsible for its own separate test. This is the test we would like to be made publicly available.
In discussions with Rouse, we learned they have a policy of not allowing telco equipment on their water tanks, so they are able to maintain their tanks. From the last video, a lot of people were very concerned, and if that is you, please help your community and contact the council to ask them, what is the action plan to move the equipment so there is safe access for workers?
And can we see the results from the local safety testing?
And maybe we could all contact the telco watchdog ACMA and ask them what accountability the telecommunications companies have in relation to water tank maintenance.